Greetings. I am reporting to you from within my parents' kitchen. I'm house sitting for them while they're on an anniversary trip. And I just got back from the gym. There are so many people, predominantly women, that have been convinced one way or the other that they should be shying away from carbs. Now, I know that there's valid reasons for people to do like keto diets or just low carb diets. I'm not here to argue against if something works for you in your specific situation. I'm not here to argue on that. But if you're just an average person regularly lifting, you need to be eating carbs. I would get really discouraged because I would go to do a lift and I would just feel tired and weak. And at first, like I've kind of just had to experiment a little bit with what exactly the culprit was, because of course the first thing was getting enough actual sleep. The next thing was drinking enough water. The next thing after that would be, do I need to have a little bit of caffeine before I hit the gym? I know a lot of people love pre-workout. I like caffeine. I've never taken pre-workout because I have this deep fear of like, what if I take a scoop of pre-workout and my heart explodes? I know that that's probably not a rational fear, but nevertheless, I'm not really itching to try it anytime soon. I'll stick to my regular caffeine and carbs. I just got to thinking about how it has changed my workouts completely just to basically carb max. An hour or two before I go to the gym, I've just been popping some quick oats in the microwave, maybe have it with a banana. And then I keep these in my bag. It's just like a Fig Newton bar, except it's made with oats. I'll put up the charts of the difference between simple carbs and complex carbs. But it's all information that we've already learned. A lot of us probably learned it in health class growing up. Sometimes you can like know something but not like internalize it completely. But I'm telling you right now, if you're going to the gym and you're training and you feel weak and I don't know, like buzzy and tired, like I want to be locked in, I want to be focused, I want to be amped, I want to be excited to be at the gym. And it felt like sometimes I would feel that way and sometimes I wouldn't. And it wouldn't be like an emotional disconnect. It would be my body is not lining up with what my mind is craving doing right now. And for me, after experimenting with all of the different components, it really did just come down to I'm not getting enough carbs and specific like timing my carbs to be a form of pre-workout for myself. So if I have a little bit of caffeine, I'm good on hydration, and I get some carbs in my system before I go to the gym, I am golden. The way I like to think about carbs is like if you have a little fire going, dead grass or leaves or tissue paper or a piece of cardboard, if you toss a tissue paper onto an open flame, it's going to be gone instantly. It's not going to do you much good, but it does help kickstart things. So personally, that's how I think about the difference between simple carbs and complex carbs, because complex carbs are going to be stored in your body in the form of glycogen, and that's going to burn more in a controlled, slow manner, like a big log on a fire. Fruit or candy, things that are going to have a quick spike of carbs is going to give you like more quick, accessible, short-term energy, which is why I don't know if you've ever noticed some people will bring like a pack of gummies to the gym with them. Sometimes I'll bring like a handful of Nerds gummy clusters with me. So it's like if maybe an hour or two before the gym, I have some oatmeal or some rice, banana, oat bar, whatever. And then once I get to the gym, like before I get started, maybe have a tiny little handful of like gummy candy. If you're not eating your carbs and you care about lifting, please don't demonize carbs. I don't know where it has come from. People get more obsessed with like protein as a macro. Everything in the grocery store is the proteinified version of itself. You can't even buy a damn Pop-Tart anymore without having them marketing the protein Pop-Tart right next to it. And now the new trendy macro is, well, I guess micronutrient is fiber. Everyone's talking about fiber, which isn't the worst thing, because I mean, I know I could stand to get more fiber. Most people could stand to get more fiber in their diet. But the protein thing is just out of hand, because most likely, if you're not a vegan or a vegetarian, if you track your protein, it's not that hard to get enough protein. You can always supplement it with protein shakes. Whenever I have gone through periods of time where I track my calories and my macros, protein is not that hard to hit my goal for. Sometimes I will notice that it's very easy to go over in fat. And then for some reason with carbs, I'm just consistently falling short on my carbs, and not intentionally. So that's why, as an experiment, I kind of addressed that. And I'm like, okay, what if I generally was just eating more oatmeal or pasta or rice? Some people really like cream of rice. I'm honestly not sure what the difference between cream of rice and rice pudding is. I have kept occasionally, I forget the brand name, but at my grocery store they have this like cinnamon flavored rice pudding cups. And I don't eat them all the time, but it is like a good, convenient, safe food to have in my fridge, where if I don't feel like fixing anything or eating something hot like oatmeal or rice. For years, I had experimented with my gym experience, and I kept coming back to how fatigued I felt. After going down the list of like, could it be my sleep? Could it be the water intake? Could it be just, for a while I was accidentally just in a deficit. I know some people, if they're not keeping track of what they eat, they tend to overeat. Some people, like myself, if I'm not paying attention, my natural baseline appetite will put me in a deficit, which does not align with my goals. So if at the very least I'm trying to just hit maintenance or a mild surplus most days, I don't track my calories all the time, but I do go through phases where like I'll go a few months without counting my calories, and then I'll decide for 1 month that I am going to count my calories every day, just to like check in and see like where my appetite is at. And more often than not, my appetite leans on the skimpier side. And yeah, it's like, no wonder I'm tired. Like, obviously, if the fuel isn't there, like if I'm in a calorie deficit and on top of that I'm not getting enough carbs, and maybe my hydration is lacking, and then I try to go to the gym, the math ain't adding up. It's worth considering, girlies. Women have been either explicitly or implicitly convinced to avoid carbs for whatever reason, but just be aware of the types of carbs that you're having and the purpose that they serve, and you might find that you have a lot more energy. That's all I'm saying. You need it. You need it. Goodbye.